Manx Murders, adapted from his book by Keith Wilkinson. Read by Mark Clift. The murder of John Gold.
William Edward Makepeace Williams came from Solihull in Warwickshire. In the late summer of 1869 he had moved to the Isle of Man and stayed at the Castle Mona Hotel, Douglas. While staying there, he met a young lady called Emma Caroline Goldthorpe, and in February 1870 they were married in Deansgate, Manchester. On the 14th of May 1870, the pair travelled to the Isle of Man, accompanied by Emma's brother, William Clift Goldthorpe. They came by boat, and on their arrival in Douglas around 7:30 p.m, went to Miss Hickman's lodgings in Castle Terrace, Douglas. Williams had 3 brothers, and one of them, Ridley, had earlier bought him a revolver pistol. This had 2 barrels and 20 chambers, and Goldthorpe was later to say that Williams appeared to have a strange fascination for the gun. On Thursday the 19th of May, Williams, Emma and her brother travelled to Laxey. Goldthorpe and Emma went in a pony trap and Williams travelled on horseback. The other 2 lost Williams when he went up a private road looking for a house, and so went back to their lodgings. When they arrived, they found that Williams had not returned, so Goldthorpe set off in the trap to look for him. Not far from the Castle Mona Hotel, Goldthorpe came across Williams riding quickly on his horse in the direction of the town centre. After this they returned to the lodgings, and the man from whom Goldthorpe had borrowed the trap, Tom Smith, also went with them. Williams took the revolver out of its case, and although the gun was loaded, he pointed it at Tom Smith, who quickly ran out of the room. Goldthorpe was later to describe Williams' manner as strange. After putting the gun back in its case, he took it out again and pointed it at the wall separating the sitting room from his own bedroom. Emma was in that room at the time. He fired one of the chambers, and the bullet went into the wall to a depth of about 3 inches. Williams then opened the window and fired the other 19 chambers over the Castle Mona Road. Goldthorpe tried to get the gun off him but was unsuccessful, and Williams reloaded some of the chambers in the gun, returning it to his breast pocket before saying that he was going out. Goldthorpe begged him to leave the revolver there, but when he saw that he was determined to go out and take the pistol with him, he accompanied him and must have been concerned about his brother-in-law's behaviour. The pair visited several pubs and walked through Strand Street into Castle Street, where they walked past the Derby Arms Hotel. This pub was owned by a man called John Gold, who was later described in one of the local newspapers as one of the most inoffensive and kindly-hearted of persons. As they passed the pub at about 10:30 p.m, Williams said to his brother-in-law, "Come, Willie, we will go in here and have something." The pair had then gone inside and ordered 2 glasses of sherry. Williams had taken the gun out of his pocket again. John Gold had then come into the bar and stood behind the counter. He began a conversation with Williams, who said to him, "I say, old fellow, I am a good shot and would like to blow through your hat." With Gold still on the other side of the bar, Williams then proceeded to point the pistol at the barman's head. Gold had his hat on, and Williams lifted the pistol and fired. Gold fell to the ground in a sitting position, the hat still on his head. There was panic in the bar. Goldthorpe said to Williams, "Edward, you have shot that man. We had better be going." Williams replied, "No, I have not, Willie." Goldthorpe described Williams as looking very wild. The pair had then left the pub and returned to their lodgings. As they left, Goldthorpe said, "Edward, you have killed him as dead as a stone." Williams replied, "Oh no, you have been mistaken." When they got back to their lodgings, Williams rushed upstairs on his own and Goldthorpe told his sister that her husband had killed a man. Emma said to him, "Then he has gone to kill himself." The pair rushed out of the sitting room towards the bedroom where Williams had gone, and at that moment they heard a pistol shot. His wife looked into the bedroom and found him dying on the bed. He had shot himself in the forehead, and just before death had tried to speak and had smiled at his wife when she came into the room. They sent for a doctor, and Dr. Adair examined Williams, confirming that he was dead. Meanwhile, back at the Derby Arms, John Gold had died in the arms of two neighbours. The inquest into the two deaths was opened at 1 p.m. on Friday the 20th of May before the High Bailiff of Douglas, Mr. S. Harris. Thomas Arthur Wood was a medical practitioner in Douglas and said the wound in Gold's head was at the crown, a little to the right of the midline, and had penetrated his skull. Williams had a circular wound in the centre of the forehead, which again penetrated the skull. John Joshua Harwood told the jury that he knew Williams and said, in his opinion, Williams was not quite sane. After several other witnesses described the events of the evening, the High Bailiff summed up at length. It was impossible, he said, that Williams could have had any malice against Gold. It was probable that in the 2 hours or so that Williams was separated from his wife and her brother, he would have had more to drink. The jury returned 2 separate verdicts, one in the case of Gold and another in the case of Williams. In the former case, their verdict was that the deceased, John Gold, died from a wound in the head inflicted by Williams, and that the latter at the time had no malice against Gold, but was labouring under temporary insanity. In Williams' case, the jury returned as their verdict that the deceased, when in a state of temporary insanity, shot himself in the head, inflicting a mortal wound on himself, by reason of which he instantaneously died.